Hey guys, Comic Boom here with a toilet top 3 for DC Comics for the week of February 1st, 2022. Let's be blunt. Every now and then, we have to go to the washroom, and sometimes we're a little taken aback because we realize that we have a lot to clean out of our system, and it doesn't make any sense because we didn't eat any chili, we didn't eat anything for breakfast, like too many eggs, we didn't eat too much spicy food. But it's like, oh my God, we need to clean the system out, and sometimes we just can't figure out why. But sometimes it's because you read a particular comic book. This is just the cold hard truth, and so I think it's appropriate that we have a toilet top 3 because sometimes you got to clean out the system, and sometimes the best way to do that is to read some of the comic books that we're going to be talking about today. And you know, it's funny. I have a lot of friends who are speculators. I'm a speculator, and a lot of speculators, as we all know, they don't read their comics. They're just concerned about the covers, and they're just and I'm there sometimes too. I buy comics just for the covers too, and I don't read them. Hey, I buy them for the cover. I buy them for spec purposes. But sometimes it's a good thing that I don't read the story, because if you read the story in some of these comics, you'll want to take a shit, and you'll be on a toilet, and you'll be using these comics as toilet paper. And so you got to be careful if you're a speculator, because if you read, because a lot of these comic books have got beautiful covers. Oh my God. But if you are foolish enough to read the story, you will use these same comics to wipe your ass. That's a fact. And I think it's only appropriate that we have a Comic Boom toilet top 3, at least for DC Comics. Now, here's the irony. I actually think that Marvel's got a lot more toilet paper than DC at the moment. I know this might shock some people, and I'm an outlier on this, but I actually am enjoying the vast majority of DC. Here's the thing. Here's why I'm an outlier, is DC comic book sales are admittedly in the toilet, but it's, if I'm looking at the overall quality of DC, it's not warranted by the overall quality. I think DC is doing, I think the comic books, now there's way too much Batman, but the Batman stories, while there's too much Batman, it's good. Most of it's good. And most of the other stuff I'm reading at DC, it's at a minimum, it's good to very good. So I'm enjoying Suicide Squad. I'm enjoying the lead up to Trial of the Amazons. I'm enjoying Nubia and the Amazons. I'm enjoying I'm intrigued by leading into Aquaman. But there are some stinkers there. There are some stinkers. And there's 3 in particular. And I'm going to give some runners up here, but I'm just saying that I'm not the pessimist that I'm embracing right now when I do this toilet top 3. All right? I mean, I love reading comics. I love DC. And I will. These things are cyclical. DC might be low now, but I'm confident they're going to come up. Just, the thing is about comic books, if you're feeling down, just, wait 3 to 6 months and the creative team changes. And I guess in the case of DC, with Discovery taking over AT&T, or taking over the movie aspect or the intellectual property of DC, Discovery, there might be some changes in the editorial and the HR and editorial departments, et cetera, et cetera. So you never know. If we're, you never know. Is Jim Lee going to be around in a year? Is Marie Javins going to be around in a year? Who knows? What's the storylines going to be a year from now? We don't know. But in any event, what I do know with certainty is the DC Comics that I would be happy to use as toilet paper for the week of February 1st, 2022. So without further ado, yes, sir, Bob. So, okay. Well, I just want to mention, there's a couple of, before we get into my toilet top 3, I want to get into what I call the runners-up, or the laxatives. These are comic books that I wouldn't use as toilet paper, but after I've read them, I tend to clean out my system easier. You know what I'm saying? You all know what I'm saying, right? You finish reading them, it's like, I don't know, I got to go to the washroom. Right, I'm saying? So we're going to deal with there's my top 3 laxatives, and then we're going to get into the toilet top 3. Okay. So coming in at number 6, I got to say is Future State Gotham. Now, you know, now the irony here is this is actually not a horribly, terribly written comic book, but the problem is that it's black and white, and it makes me think of manga, and that makes me want to run to the bathroom and just clean my system out. I don't like manga. I don't like it. And if DC is of the mindset, or Marvel for that matter, if any publishing company, if DC is of the mindset that, well, you know, we need to manganize all our comic books because we want to attract that crowd, they're going to lose me as a reader, as a fan. Simple as that. Now, that might be the future. Who knows? Maybe that's the future. And I'm old school. You know, I'm a 50-something guy, so I can be ignored. I get it. I'm just saying that if Future State Gotham, it's black and white. I think it's dealing with it's talking about a next Joker, and it deals with Red Hood and all these other characters in a Future State world. Future State was awful. When Future State first came out, it was interesting because it gave us future possibilities of storylines of the characters. But unfortunately, I thought DC had a plan. I thought they would do a way better job I thought Future State was just that. It was a future state. I didn't think they would be stupid enough to literally build every single one of their stories, every single one of their comic books was building to the garbage that came out of Future State. It was so frustrating. And here we have a comic that, boy, oh boy, I mean, this doesn't exist in mainstream continuity, Future State Gotham. So why does this comic exist? Who gives a shit about Future State Gotham? Who cares about a Red Hood who's a peacekeeper? Peacekeeper 1, Peacekeeper Red, Peacekeeper whatever, psychopath, Peacekeeper this, Peacekeeper that. Bruce Wayne, I don't know where he is in this Future State. Why does this comic book exist? Not only that, it's a ripoff. It's overpriced. And DC keeps republishing material in the back of it that was already been produced already. And they're charging more for it. Plus, and of course, there's the usual tactic. Well, they, put all these covers on it. I don't know. I guess I'm an outlier too. I hate these covers. It's ugly. I hate these covers for Future State Gotham. It's a sort of new wave crap. And the only thing that I'll say it has going for it is that at least the covers have something to do with the content, which is extremely rare nowadays. But at least the covers have something to do with the content. But I don't like it. I just don't like it. And there's also another thing. This recent cover here, I'll put up here. This recent cover with Nightwing of Future State Gotham. What an ugly cover. Ugly. Just is. It's again. What is with hiring come on. There are many artists out there. You can't get one better than. I don't even know who the artist is. The art, it sucks. This is toilet paper, straight up. And I don't like it. I hate this. I hate the storyline. I don't like it. Is the story okay? Well, sure, whatever. It's black and white. It's garbage. It's lazy. It's overpriced. And it's toilet paper as far as I'm concerned. But I'm nice, so I'll just call it a laxative. But I'm telling you guys, Future State Gotham isn't worth your time. It's not worth your time at all. There are speculators out there that will have a geekasm over the fact that, well, this was like the first appearance of the next Joker. The next Joker? We need a next Joker like we need a hole in the head, like we need another punchline. All right? Enough already. But in any event, that's what we're left with. But this thing is a dump. Get rid of it as far as I'm concerned. So, now coming in at number 5, to me is another laxative, is Justice League. But I want to defend, even though it's a laxative, it cleans up the system. Bendis' Justice League, this Justice League has actually gotten better. It's actually gotten a little bit better. It's taken Bendis a very, very, very long time to get any kind of handle on the DC universe. And surprise, surprise, he still hasn't gotten it. I'm sorry, he just hasn't. He doesn't have a very good hand. He's doing his own thing. And the sad part is that I know that he claims to have read a lot of past DC work, a lot of past DC Comics stories, and DC while he was sick in the hospital and talking to Greg Rucka and everything else. And I get it, and he's a super great promoter of the industry and everything else, but he doesn't know the DC universe well at all. He doesn't know the characters well at all. He doesn't understand the voices well at all. His dialogue continues to be terrible. His dialogue is terrible across the board. Everyone's has the same dialogue, whether it's Naomi, whether it's Wonder Woman, whether it's Flash. He confuses his Flashes. He confuses Barry with Wally all the time. Superman. Uh, the continuity errors between his Young Justice, between his Legion of Superheroes, the bastardization of the DC history in his Legion of Superheroes, going in the DC Millennium into the Legion of Superheroes, the bastardization and the screw ups and the mix up of the history of the DC universe. And it's not even Bendis's fault. I mean, you don't get what you don't get what you're worth. You get what you negotiate. And Bendis got the keys to the kingdom when he came over to DC, and AT&T they basically let him do carte blanche. The disastrous story from Leviathan, which is the biggest joke villain probably in the history of I've ever read DC Comics. The biggest joke villain I've ever seen is Leviathan. It's Mark Shaw. The ongoing joke is Mark Shaw. Who? Mark Shaw. Who? Leviathan. Nobody cares. And even Bendis himself treated his own character like a joke at the end and had him killed off at the end of Leviathan Checkmate or whatever the hell it was. Anyways, Justice League it'll be so glad when it's over. It's so glad when it's over. And I want let Bendis focus on his Naomi. Let him focus on his Naomi, because he nails Naomi. He gets Naomi well. Unfortunately, Naomi shouldn't be in the Justice League. That is an insult to the Justice League. They're top tier. Naomi's not. She's a teenager. She should be in the Teen Titans. And artificially elevating her has not only hurt Naomi, because I'm annoyed with Naomi, because she doesn't deserve to be there. My God, she herself knows she doesn't deserve to be there. But yet you have to dumb down all the other characters of the Justice League, from Batman to Superman to Wonder Woman, to pretend like Naomi deserves to be there. I mean, please. She doesn't deserve to be there, and you're not doing the character any favors by forcing her and propping her up when she doesn't deserve to be there. It's just, I'm sorry, she doesn't. And part of the problem with DC is that they're doing things for intellectual property farming, and they're failing to embrace any degree of verisimilitude, and they don't have meetings, they don't have editors that have any authority to talk to each other and to just say things that are common sense, like a teenager is not on the Justice League and shouldn't be. That's just one very small problem, but it is a laxative, and it helps clean my bowels out when I got to read it. That's a fact. In any event, let's continue on. All right, now the Justice League. Now coming in, the third laxative, before we get into the top three toilets, the third laxative is the Bat Cat. Yes, Bat Cat. You know what? I'm enjoying pretty much everything Tom King's writing, except for Bat Cat. I love his Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. I think it should be nominated for an Eisner. It's that good. I love his Human Target so far. I think it's good enough. It should also be nominated for an Eisner. Really, it's that good. I loved his Rorschach. It's fantastic. I loved his Adam Strange, his Strange Adventures. It was fantastic. But Tom King, I don't know, man. You're Batwoman. You're Batman Catwoman. I got to tell you, it is. It almost made it to toilet paper status, but not quite there. Instead, it just makes me want to take a dump and use toilet paper. I don't understand his Catwoman. I've never understood his Catwoman throughout his entire Batman run. Selina was consistently written out of character, with the exception of Batman Annual #2, which was sort of arguably out of continuity, but kind of wasn't. But he keeps trying to shoehorn it in. Doesn't make any sense. It doesn't fit. Tom King here. There's a reason why he was removed off Batman, and that's because he just doesn't have a handle on the characters. And in fact, his bastardization of Flashpoint Batman is one of the reasons why Jeff Johns has to come in and do a Flashpoint Beyond with Jeremy Adams and Tim Sheridan in order to sort of undo the damage done to that character of Flashpoint Batman, because it was a complete bastardization of Thomas Wayne. The Thomas Wayne in Flashpoint Batman, who is Flashpoint Batman in the Flashpoint Paradox, Thomas Wayne would never ever come back and facilitate the destruction upon his son's life as he did in Tom King's run. That was a complete bastardization, and editorial can blame Tom King, but editorial deserved to get fired as well. It was just, and you can't even blame AT&T for that. That was before them. That was the Dan Didio era. So that was another thing that, good Lord. In any event, this Batman Catwoman makes no sense. I've read issue 10, and I can tell you issue 10 makes no sense. It's Catwoman arguing with the Joker. She's fighting with the Joker. 3 or 4 issues, Selina is literally having drinks with the Joker by a Christmas tree. I don't know why. Selina wants to kill the Joker. She kills the Joker in the future, and meanwhile in the present she's having a fight with her daughter, Helena. In the present, Helena wants to arrest her mother in the future for killing the Joker. And Selina has some secret that apparently she never talked much with Bruce Wayne. This is called Batman Catwoman, but don't kid yourself. Batman is nowhere to be seen in this comic book. He's dead through most of the scenes. He's silent through most of the scenes. This is a Selina Kyle story. This is a lot like Tinian's Joker. Now, I love Tinian's Joker. Tinian's Joker doesn't star the Joker a lot, but it's such a well-written story. I'm loving it as a Jim Gordon story. It's that good. But this isn't a Batman Catwoman story. This is a Selina Kyle story, and it is not a very good Selina Kyle story. This Selina Kyle makes no sense. She's Looney Tunes. She's crazy. She's unpredictable. She's all over the place. She's Looney Tunes. She's crazy in the present. She's crazy in the future. She's a terrible mother. I don't get it. And the Batman Catwoman special was even worse. Try to make sense of Selina in that comic, which was a tribute to John Paul Leon, a fantastic artist, but boy, oh boy, in such a terrible story. Again, not doing any favors to the character of Selina Kyle whatsoever. This is an abortion. This is a laxative, after which you need toilet paper. And speaking of which, let's get to the toilet paper. Coming in at number 3, this is something you could absolutely wipe your ass with, and it's Teen Titans Academy. Pick your issue. It doesn't matter. You got choice. You got colorful choices for your toilet paper. And man, you can't go wrong with Teen Titans Academy. Now, I picked this issue number 2 to show because everything's about Red X. I think we got no less than 3 Red X's. And it's much like when you look at toilet paper after you wipe your ass for the first time. If every now and then you'll have a little bit of a stain, and sometimes it might form a letter, and it might form a letter X. That's Red X. Maybe it's Brown X. That's what it feels like. This is a comic that is at times difficult to follow. It is all over the place. Their characters in the early issues weren't named, so you had to struggle to try to find out who these characters are. That improved gradually by issue 4 or 5. Tim Sheridan finally figured out that, I have to name the characters. I got to let the people know who are reading the comic who these characters are. So then he would be nice enough to sort of say, okay, this is so-and-so and this is so-and-so. But then, of course, we'd go off on a tangent. Then suddenly it's a Gorilla Grodd story. And then suddenly, these kids are never in class. They're bullies. We know from Future State that they're actually really unlikable kids. They actually bully Miguel, who is Dial H for Hero. They bully Miguel and they steal his H style to try to resurrect Roy Harper in Future State, and that leads to the unkindness coming and everything else. And I know from the interview that Jason and I did with Jeremy Adams that Tim Sheridan with Teen Titans Academy, much to all of our chagrin, he has doubled down, and this Teen Titans Academy is the one comic that apparently we know has really embraced the future state. You know, the future state where the four horsemen of apocalypse uh, merge with, end up in Raven's soul cloud and get trapped in the rock of eternity and then released, and then they become the unkindness, and that all this linked into the. I'm trying to make sense of all this. I read all of Future State. I've read all the DC comics from. I've read every single Teen Titans Academy. I've taken notes. I've reread the issues multiple times. This is a dog's breakfast. A dog's breakfast of a comic book, and I can't recommend it. I can't. It's too convoluted. It's all over the place, and you know, I don't even know one of the most unfortunate and telling things of this in the recent issue, or in the last issue of Teen Titans Academy. I think it was, I don't even know what it was. It was at 8, 9, 10, whatever. I mean, I've lost count in the last one where Red X, the younger, there's apparently I guess there's 3 Red X's. There was Nightwing apparently at one point. I think Nightwing was Red X at one point, according to Future State. And then we have an older Red X, and then we have a younger Red X. And why is that? I don't know, just to add more confusion to it. We're supposed to give a shit who Red X is. Red X has got powers. He's got everything. He's got any superpower he needs. Tim Sheridan has been completely inconsistent with the power set he's given Red X. He's got the power of, well, we don't know. He's got super strength. He's got super intelligence. He's got Batman level intellect. He can, I don't know, he's got electrical powers. He's got magnet powers. He's got gravitational powers. And he's angry. He's got an anger management problem. But then he's reasonable. But then he's unreasonable. And then he likes chopping off the heads of villains. And then of course the Teen Titans Academy teachers, Nightwing, Starfire, changing. They don't have a problem with Red X cutting off other people's heads. I'm baffled by it. This is a terrible comic book. I can't recommend it. It's all over the place. And again, we got the Bat Pack or the Brat Pack. We got Stitch, who is gender confused. We had issues wasted on her. There are so many unfortunate things about this comic that when I think of how much it could be, I mean, if you want to read a good Academy issue, read Gotham Academy, the get back issues of Gotham Academy, or go get back issues of Strange Academy at Marvel. But this is awful. This is toilet paper. Wipe your ass with it. Don't buy it. If you're going to buy it, I mean, hey, it's expensive toilet paper. It's expensive toilet paper. If you're a speculator and you've never read the comic, because a lot of you speculators don't read it, because you'll go from, if you read it, if you take it out of your plastic, you take it out of your encapsulated, you take it out of the bag and the board and you read it, you will wipe your ass with it. And then you'll ruin the value of it, because, especially if it's those Red X issues that nobody's talking about, huh? You don't want to do that. No, that'd be terrible. All right, so coming in at number 2, what do we have here at number 2? Oh. I'm pretty sure at number 2 we've got Wonder Girl. Can this possibly surprise anybody? It surprised me, man. I hate calling this toilet paper. I really do, because I love Yara Flora. The Future State issues, not all of them were toilet paper. Some of them were pretty good. And Joelle Jones' Wonder Girl, the Future State issues were some of the best. It was really, really good. Great art. And we were introduced to this vibrant, hyperactive, very, seemingly very interesting, and potentially even insightful and vigorous and engrossing Brazilian woman who was just, she looked amazing. She looked beautiful. And I was so looking forward, all of us were, to her origin. And wow, the Wonder Girl issues 1 through 7 that we got, it was canceled issue 8 was in the bag and they canceled it because, let's face it, because they knew it was that terrible. Wonder Girl number 7 was terrible. This origin has been mediocre, subpar. It's been a mess. It's been a mess. She's got 2 boyfriends. She's got one who's a stage 5 clinger, Zhao, who's a bus driver. Terrible, zero character development, terrible character development. Not even clear what the motivations of the villain are. Helen, Zeus's wife, Helen, wants to kill Yara, but then doesn't want to kill her, and then wants to train her and drags her on Olympus and trains her for how long? We don't know. Time is different on Olympus. And then Yara doesn't have any problem going to Olympus and training for arguably years, where time is different on Olympus. And then she knows full well what is happening, but she's stupid. She's whatever God gave her wisdom, she doesn't exercise it. She's shot with an arrow. She knows she's shot with the arrow. She knows that's why she's also in love with Eros, one of the other sons of Zeus. He manipulates her. She's got to be stupid if she doesn't know it. So she leaves Olympus. She rejects Helen. So then Helen wants to kill her and sends Phoebos and Deimos and Eros, her 3 sons, to kill her. Meanwhile, Artemis and Cassie, Wonder Girl, and Donna Troy, for some reason, join the Escazita tribe, who seek to try to protect Yara Flor, but they shouldn't be protecting her because, quite frankly, Artemis was sent by the Queen Faruka to actually kill Yara Flor, to take her out. Cassie was given explicit instructions by Queen Nubia to, apprehend or to confront Yara Flor, but they didn't do that. Cassie showed up, had a conversation with her. Cassie, and her stupidity, decided, oh yeah, Yara Flor's okay because we bonded. We had a conversation. It was so pathetic. Artemis defied her queen. Artemis never killed Yara. Why didn't Artemis kill Yara? She was supposed to. She was supposed to take her out, or at least remove her from the playing field. I know that Artemis does what she wants, so I can see Artemis defying her queen and not killing her. But why did she defy her queen? That was never explained. Why did she just let her go? Because she had a conversation with Cassie? I mean, Cassie's an idiot. I mean, Cassie's not intelligent. Okay? Cassie's never really been an intelligent. I mean, Cassie is one of those daughters of Zeus who's never been particularly smart. And to add insult to injury, Cassie's the one that wins the day at the end of issue 7. Suddenly Zeus shows up. The most misogynist god you can imagine. Which, I don't care. I'm a guy. Go ahead, be misogynist. I don't give a shit. I don't care. But he shows up. I would have thought the writer cared. I would have thought Joelle Jones cared that Zeus shows up and usurps Helen and says, "Let me handle this, Helen." And what does Zeus do? He has a lightning bolt in his hand. Terrible art, by the way. He actually has a lightning bolt in his hand, drawn like a lightning bolt. Lazy art, terrible art. I got to tell you, this is so badly done, and no wonder they canceled it. It's toilet paper. It's straight up toilet paper. And what an insult. What an insult. You had an opportunity to write Wonder Girl, to contribute to the Amazonian mythology. And we're subjected to toilet paper. It's what a shame. What a shame. But hey, we're getting Trial of the Amazons, and hopefully lipstick on the pig or the shit being removed from the toilet paper can be done. But I'm not holding my breath. But now here's the saving grace from all this. The saving grace is Newbie in the Amazons is really good. It's well written by Vita Ayala and Stephanie Williams. And that's actually good. The backup feature in Wonder Woman is actually really good as well. And that's leading into Trial of the Amazons. And Becky Cloonan and Michael W. Conrad are, their Wonder Woman is, the story's, it's okay. It's, I got issues with what the direction of the story and the relevance of the story to what should be the relevance in the DC universe, but that's another issue. It's written good enough that I can, get into it. But Wonder Girl, this is an embarrassment, an absolute embarrassment. and editorial should be fired. There's no excuse for this. None. Joelle Jones removed from the title. I'm sorry. Straight up removed. You failed. Jim Lee should be removed too, because this happens under his watch. When are they going to acknowledge that guy needs to be removed? Okay, the guy's a good artist. Great. Draw more art for charity. Thanks, Jim. Thanks for coming out. Go say hi to Dan. But anyways, that's another topic. But anyways, this is terrible. I'm so disappointed in this title. So much potential, completely squandered. I love Yara Flor, but in order for her to get better, she has to be written by somebody else entirely. And frankly, you might as well give her a completely different artistic style while you're at it, because you might as well go back to formula, because this is an embarrassment. It really was. This is probably the worst 7 issues of an origin I've seen in a very, very long time. And I've been reading comics a long time. It's really toilet paper. All right. So, what is the number one piece of garbage, toilet paper that DC has produced? Well, this is going to surprise probably very few, and that is Black Manta. I just want to make this a little bit bigger here. Make it a little bit bigger and put it right above the toilet paper so everyone can see. I got to tell you, man, Black Manta is, as a prelude to Aquaman. Here's the sad part. We got Wonder Girl, which is toilet paper leading into Trial of the Amazons, which is terrible because it's the new Wonder Woman. It's the new Wonder Girl, new Wonder Woman. It's toilet paper. And of course, we got Black Manta, who unfortunately leading into Aquaman, which is an event. This is toilet paper as well. This is unquestionably has the worst art. This is worse than Wonder Girl. Wonder Girl at least has Joelle Jones on the art for some of it, and Joelle Jones' art is good in Wonder Girl, but she's got another artist who is trying to copy her style, and there's a third one. It's just awful. I'm not even going to mention their names. Why? I don't want to I don't want to put anyone down, but whatever. It is what it is. But this Black Manta title here is just. It's awful. The art is particularly egregious. It's egregious in Black Manta, and the motivation for Devil Ray in this is just nonsensical. I mean, the purpose here, the sad part here is that if DC clearly wants, here's the agenda, okay, that DC has with Black Manta. They want Black Manta to be an anti-hero, and they want him to be less of an asshole, less of a villain, and less obsessed with Aquaman, because Black Manta was admittedly kind of a one-dimensional villain to begin with. He just always wanted to just kill Arthur Curry. And it was kind of embarrassing how one-dimensional he was, and it was kind of stupid. He was just sort of mad as... In fact, he's about as one-dimensional as he was in the movie. But even worse than that, at least in the movie, Aquaman killed his dad, so you could understand why he's upset. But Black Manta here is like, his obsession, he really needs to get over it. So what they want to do is they want to make him more of they want to give him more relevance to Aquaman's mythology. So what they've done is that what writer Chuck Brown did here is they created a deserter tribe. So in ancient Atlantis, there was a group of Atlanteans that deserted Atlantis, and they're called the Deserter Tribe. And they deserted Atlantis, and they've occupied different areas of the earth. And the offspring of the Deserter Tribe of Atlantis now lives in various places all around the earth, and they're linked to this ornaculum stone, which is causing them all to die from aneurysms. Is for whatever reason, the present generation, the descendants of the original Deserter Tribe, are dying from various health difficulties and brain aneurysms linked to this ornaculum stone, which, and I'm saying that wrong, but again, this is one of writer Chuck Brown's problems here, is that he has a dumb name for the stone, and he doesn't name any of the characters in his comic book, and until the oddest times. So we had to wait till issue 3 to know who Torrent was, one of the characters. We had to wait to the final issue, which was issue 6, to know what the name of one of the creatures were linked to Torrent. And not only that, even with Dr. Mist, and then there's Gallus, the characterization and the motivation for Devil Ray is just insane. Devil Ray has, talk about a one-dimensional motivation. So you know how one-dimensional Black Manta's obsession was with Aquaman was? Well, Devil Ray has a one-dimensional, nonsensical obsession with Black Manta. Devil Ray used to be a Manta Man. Devil Ray used to work for Black Manta, used to be one of Black Manta's underlings. And for some reason, he thinks that Black Manta used to want to fight for the people, fight for the cause. So Devil Ray apparently joined Black Manta thinking that Black Manta was going to, I don't know, fight slavery? Because there was an issue where I don't know what Chuck Brown was going with. He showed all these slave colonies through the centuries. So are you linking the deserter tribe with blacks and black slavery and black slave history? Is that what you're trying to do? If you're trying to do that, why don't you just spell it out and say it? Anyways, not a very good job. But I'm being kind when I say, okay, so, and I guess the deserter tribe in Atlantis, they're all black and they all became slaves in white man's world. Is that where you're going? Okay. And that's kind of interesting. So all these slave colonies that existed, they're all black. Ancient Atlantans, according to Jack Brown, apparently they were all black. Okay. And then they became a deserted tribe. They deserted themselves and they became a wandering diaspora of former Atlanteans scattered around the globe and then became slaves. Okay? And now they're dying of aneurysms. And now Black Manta, Dr. Mist, and Gallus, they're going to go around and try to and bring together the deserter tribe with the goal of occupying Zibel or occupying Atlantis, bringing them back to Atlantis. And Black Manta now is going to be a hero, and he realizes that, you know, he was an asshole for all those years. Anyways, what I just said, if anything of what I just said sounds kind of cool, and it is kind of cool, I'm doing the story a service because the story does a terrible job spelling this out. And the art is horrendous. It is the worst art I've seen in DC. And I'm not going to name the artists, but it is the worst art. It's toilet paper. It's the worst art you will ever see in a DC comic in 20 years. It's that bad. It's toilet paper. And it's so, the editors should be fired. Whoever chose the artist should be fired. I hate to say it, but the writing is not up to task. Chuck Brown should not be rehired, should not be part of the DC echelon. He's not good enough. I hate to say he's not good enough. And neither is Joelle Jones on Wonder Girl. I hate to say it. If you're going to have her, just have her do art. But she's not fast enough. How long does she need to do a fucking comic? Seriously. I mean, if you can't draw a full comic in 30 days, I mean, hire somebody else. This is about DC. You got to get your act together. Hire competent people. I mean, Joelle Jones did a fantastic job with her Killer Girl or Lady Killer. It was great. I'm starting to wonder, did that take her 15 years to do? I mean, if she can't keep up in the art, she can't. I mean, good Lord, you would think that if you wrote something, you'd be able to draw it faster because it's in your head. Apparently not. Anyways, there's a reason why this is a toilet top 3. And this is a rant. It's not a friendly one. Yeah, it is. It's friendly. I'm just kidding. I'm really friendly. I've been drinking. Anyways, that's it. The toilet top 3, man. Toilet top 3 again. Teen Titans Academy, Wonder Girl, and Black Manta. Wow. And so there you have it. That's my rant. And I hope you guys, if you have an extra bit of money in your budget, and you want to budget for some toilet paper, expensive toilet paper, at least $3.99 a pop to $10. Hey, you know what you can do. So in any event, guys, if you agree with me, Let me know. If you don't agree with me, let me know. What would be your toilet paper if you had to buy a DC comic book and use that DC comic book to wipe your ass? Which comic book would it be? Even let me know, which Marvel comic book should I be buying to wipe my ass? I'd be really curious as well, which Marvel comic books I should be buying to wipe my ass. So let me know. And hey, in the meantime, Comic Boom out.